In the first 6 months of 2022, 22 workers fell victim to the deadly hazards present in trenching and excavation work, surpassing the 15 fatalities in all of 2021. OSHA is focusing on reducing trenching and excavation hazards by strengthening its national emphasis program. Trench collapses or cave-ins pose the greatest risk to workers' lives. To prevent cave-ins, slope or bench trench walls, shore trench walls with supports, or shield trench walls with trench boxes. Employers should ensure there is a safe way to enter and exit the trench. Keep materials away from the edge of the trench. Look for standing water or atmospheric hazards. Never enter a trench unless it has been properly inspected, and always train those associated with the work. Stick around, we've got so much more for you.
Excavations and trenches do not need to be deep or large to create a life-threatening hazard. Soil is heavy and failures take place with little or no notice. You can be trapped before there is time to react. Soil type, moisture content, depth, configuration, proximity to existing structures, and location of spoil piles all work together to make every excavation unique. When a cave-in accident occurs, the likelihood of death is 15 times greater than from any other type of serious construction accident. However, nearly all cave-in accidents are preventable if you follow the tips outlined in today's lesson. For your protection, the OSHA Standard 1926 Subpart P clarifies the requirements for the protection of employees, both in and around excavations. Some of the requirements of the standard are: trenches and excavations 5 feet deep or deeper must be protected from cave-ins. Spoil piles must stay at least 2 feet back from the edge of the hole. Please note, this is measured from the point where the spoil pile ends. Install ladders in trenches that are 4 feet deep or deeper, so that no matter which way you travel in the trench, a ladder can be accessed within at least 25 feet. And lastly, have a competent person on site to plan, inspect, and observe all excavations. Since a competent person is required for all excavations, let's look at what they should be looking for. A competent person should make and document inspections before the start of the work shift and when conditions change. Determine the soil type. Determine the appropriate type of cave-in protection to be used. Provide safe access to the excavation, and instruct all workers on the safe work practices. Evaluation of shoring, sloping, or other means to eliminate the potential for cave-ins must be performed prior to the start of work. Consider these engineering controls at the pre-bid stage. The cost associated with some systems may significantly reduce or eliminate the profit of a job if not considered early. The evaluation must be performed by a trained person who is knowledgeable in the areas of soil analysis, the use of protective systems, and in the requirements of applicable standards and regulations. Without this pre-job planning, shortcuts might be taken, putting employees in significant danger, which is why you should always perform these pre-job procedures. Here are some good safety rules and practices to follow when working in or around excavations. Work in an excavation or trench must be under the immediate supervision of a competent person at all times. Adequate precautions must be taken to ensure that vibrating equipment and vehicular traffic do not cause a cave-in. Always consider groundwater seepage as a potential cause of collapse of any trench or excavation. And safe access egress must be provided, ladders, ramps, etc., and they must be securely fastened in place. Remember that you are the one that is going into the excavation. Be sure to check the methods being used to protect the excavation, including the shoring equipment's condition and the ladder out of the hole, prior to climbing down the ladder. Check the spoil pile location and equipment that is near the excavation. Do you feel comfortable with the excavation, its protection, and the nearby surroundings? Remember, it is your life on the line, and if you don't feel comfortable, we recommend speaking with a supervisor before continuing work. In residential foundation work, basements are built beneath the ground level. This requires removal of the earth's surface, creating an excavation. In 1995, OSHA wrote a memo, which is now commonly referred to as the Stanley Memo, after the author of the memo, James W. Stanley. The Stanley Memo provides an exemption to the application of Subpart P for house foundations and basements. This memo applies to house foundation and basement excavations that are in Type A or B soil including those which become trenches by definition when formwork, foundations, or walls are constructed. This memo does not apply to utility excavations or trenches where 29 CFR Subpart P shall remain applicable. To read the full memo, visit OSHA.gov. We hope you have enjoyed learning more about excavations and trenching safety. We thank you for taking the time to watch this video and hope you'll join us again for future Video Toolbox Talks. As always, we'd love to hear your feedback. Please let us know if you have any questions or comments. Thank you very much and have a safe day.